Hideo Kojima says that he has turned down a number of ridiculously high offers to buy Kojima Productions. Kojima started the company Kojima Productions after he left Konami because he had different ideas with the company. In the end, Kojima got a lot of Konami developers to join his new team, and they helped him make Death Stranding.
Come and find me.
Starting us off, Hideo Kojima has rejected ridiculously high acquisition offers. The studio has a lot of potential, and Kojima seems to think that potential calls for the studio to stay independent. Kojima Productions is also not slowing down, which may be a big reason why companies want to buy them. Kojima Productions has confirmed that it is working with Microsoft on a new game. This comes after the release of Death Stranding. There are also rumors that Kojima Productions is making a Silent Hill game for PlayStation, and that a second Death Stranding game is in the works. Even the craziest rumors get some thought, if only because people think Kojima Productions can do anything. Even though no specifics were given, Kojima made it clear that there have been attempts to buy Kojima Productions. Kojima said in the most recent episode of his podcast, Hideo Kojima Presents Brain Structure, "Every day I'm approached by offers all over the world to buy our studio." He also says that some of the offers for Kojima Productions have been ridiculously high prices, but he has turned them all down and has no plans to sell. The reason why Kojima has rejected the acquisition offers is simple. He says that the reason he started Kojima Productions wasn't to make money. Kojima would rather just make what I want to make. Kojima goes so far as to say he doesn't think he'll sell Kojima Productions as long as he's still alive. That's enough to say that it's a strong statement from Kojima, and it shows why his fans are so loyal. Some people might be confused by Kojima's comments, since he is working on an unnamed project with Microsoft and is said to be working on another with PlayStation. Kojima makes it clear that Kojima Productions is still a separate studio by saying that it has no affiliations whatsoever and isn't backed by anyone. The game development contracts that the studio has signed are probably short-term and let Kojima stick to his goals. Of course, it wasn't easy to get to this point. Kojima worked for Konami for a long time. His first Metal Gear game came out in 1987. The fact that Kojima left the Metal Gear franchise, which he made into a huge success, to start his own independent studio and make games like Death Stranding should show what kind of a person he is. And now that he's here, it's clear that Kojima doesn't want to sell what he's made.
Sam, we want you to go west and finish what Emily started.
Next up, Hideo Kojima breaks silence on abandoned conspiracies. In a new episode of his Brain Structure podcast on Spotify, where he and Jeff Keighley talked about gaming rumors, the director of Death Stranding talked about the idea that he was involved with Abandoned, a horror game made by Blue Box Studios. Users kept sending me pictures of this Hassan, Kojima told Keighley. They still send me about 20 collages and fake photos every day, which is really annoying. A short teaser is the only thing that has been shown about the game, Abandoned. Even though there have been many delays, Hassan's promise of a playable prologue that will fund the final game has not come true. Even though the links between Hassan and Kojima have never been very strong, that didn't stop someone from starting a Reddit community to track the supposed links between the director and Hassan. r/the Blue Box Conspiracy, which at its peak had about 9,000 subscribers, kept track of everything Kojima or Hassan did to try to find a link between the two. User found out that Hassan had previously made an exercise app called Personal Training PT app. This made fans of the subreddit panic because they thought it was a reference to PT. The canceled, then removed from storefront teaser for Silent Hill, a reboot of the horror franchise that Kojima was once supposed to direct. Hassan also played a game on his PSN profile that wasn't in the PS Store, but this wasn't a clue because he could have been testing a product on his own account that hadn't been submitted for certification. Well, Hassan appeared to play this mystery up, potentially because it was generating a significant amount of buzz for a completely unknown studio, in a project that essentially released nothing resembling gameplay or a final product. The studio did put out an app that was said to be a kind of teaser for the prologue, but users found out that it was mostly just a screensaver made from assets that were already available to the public. Kojima said in his podcast, "When we did that Moby Dick thing, Jeff was in on it, and that was pretty fun, but people should know that I wouldn't do the same thing twice." The Moby Dick thing Kojima talks about is a fake studio he made before Metal Gear Solid 5 was announced. A trailer for The Phantom Pain was made by Moby Dick Studios, but people who watched the trailer with a keen eye saw that the logo for the fake game had spaces where the words Metal Gear Solid 5 could fit. Fans thought that Kojima might have also thought of Blue Box Studios and Hassan. Hassan hasn't talked about the game in public in a while, and his tweets are currently being kept private. Blue Box Game Studios asked fans on Twitter in April if they wanted to see development footage of Abandoned Prologue, but this didn't lead to anything.
My masters changed, along with the words they made me speak. With each change, I changed too.
Next up, Hideo Kojima on 7 years as an independent game developer. Kojima has only been doing this kind of work for a short time. Since he left Konami, he has often refused to talk about the games he made there. Neither party has talked about why he left in public, but I heard that Konami had employees wait outside Kojima's office to see who was working for him. In the past few months, that has begun to change. I used to groan whenever someone on social media reminded me that it was the anniversary of this or that game. He says, I felt embarrassed when I saw people playing these games, which were made with simple technology. Kojima says he has watched videos of his old games on YouTube. He recently wrote on Twitter that when he saw a popular Japanese streamer play through 1998's Metal Gear Solid, he felt as embarrassed as if someone had read out loud from his private diary. But now I see these young kids having fun playing Metal Gear Solid, which was made 30 years ago. I'm starting to feel differently. Even now, Kojima's early work is interesting because he was one of the few directors at the time who tried to figure out why characters did what they did. In Metal Gear, which came out for the first time in 1987, players take on the role of a Special Forces agent looking for a two-legged walking robot that can fire nuclear weapons. At a time when video games didn't have much room for story, Kojima put the simple shooting in the context of a fairly complicated story. Well, that urge to understand people has often combined favorably with his talent for prophecy. In Death Stranding, the first game made by Kojima Productions, players take on the role of Sam, a delivery man, played by Norman Reedus, who walks around a post-apocalyptic world carrying packages on his back. In November 2019, a few months after the game came out, a pandemic caused millions of people in shelters to depend on delivery drivers for food and supplies. Even though he gets pranked and harassed online all the time, Kojima is still a big fan of social media. He often tweets hints about what he's working on, or praises other media and entertainment he's enjoyed. He says with a laugh, in reality, I think creators shouldn't say anything at all. You should only show what you think through what you make. Kojima says that his weekly iPhone report showing how many hours he spent on social media makes him uncomfortable. He says that a person has a limited amount of creative energy, and when that energy is spent on social media, there is less creative energy left over for real creative projects. Part of the job is teasing new projects in ways that get people excited and looking forward to projects that aren't finished or haven't been proven yet. Kojima comes to our interview wearing a t-shirt that says, "Who am I?" because he knows he'll be photographed. This is a slogan that was used to track the involvement of the actor Elle Fanning, who has worked with a lot of famous directors like Sofia Coppola and Woody Allen in his next project. The studio has confirmed that it is working on multiple projects. One of them is likely a sequel to Death Stranding, since Norman Reedus said in May that he had started working on a second one. Kojima won't say much about the other project, except that it's something he's wanted to make for years, but couldn't until now because the technology wasn't good enough. Well, that's it for today, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Till next time, cheers.
Way my dad made it sound, we were something special. The glue that held it all together. More than a nation. A symbol of freedom and hope.